and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky, and I'm here today with...
Ho, 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 Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
You guys have been bad. Nothing but coal right out of these guns.
I thought you were going to do your werewolf howl again.
Is it a full moon? Ho, ho, ho.
And I'm Colin Cunningham.
And it's time to deck those halls and trim the tree and stuff your stockings.
But you got to do it today because you're listening to this on December 25th.
It's Christmas Day today.
Who's going to be listening to this on Christmas Day?
I bet lots
Every
of people.
kid that doesn't want to have... Well, no one's interacting with anybody because if you are, you're doing it wrong. But
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
We're in another lockdown.
hang out with your family. The No Such Thing as a Bad Movie crowd.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
We're going to be
In your
legally
ears.
liable.
No other contact.
We are their family.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are each other's family, and it's Christmas. It's Christmas. Okay. What are we talking about today? The Nutcracker in 3D.
Thank you, Justin, for choosing this movie.
AKA Nutcracker, The Untold Story, as it was re-released later on.
Yeah, that's weird. So this sort of just got lost in my head with it. Seems like there are a million Nutcracker movies. And
There's
this,
a lot, yeah.
Yeah, this just got buried in with them, and I couldn't discern which one was which.
So, is the Nutcracker something that you guys have any familiarity with? Because other than the main themes of the songs, I've never seen a Nutcracker movie.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go first. I grew up listening to the album because we would put it on at Christmas, like the classical album when we were when we were decorating the tree and stuff. So I used to listen to it a lot on a CD, and the songs are from Fantasia as well, which I know. And as far as the movie goes, I don't think I've seen any movie versions of it. I remember there was a Care Bear special that did the Nutcracker.
There was an 86 movie directed by Carol Ballard, the person who did the Black Stallion. But I don't hear it. And Fly Away Home. We're Canadian, so for some reason we've all seen this.
I've actually met him before. We worked on Fly Away Home at
But I don't hear it talked about that much, so I don't know if it has that much of a cultural impact. Actually, looking on IMDb, it only has 879 rate, so no one has seen it.
Yeah, it's weird. It might have been on TV or something. I just remember maybe watching like a movie version of the stage musical or something like that.
Yeah, but you've seen the stage musical, right, Colin?
Yeah, so every year it was kind of tradition. My mom would take me downtown. I can't remember where it was, maybe like the O'Keefe Center or something like that. But we'd go to see the Nutcracker every year around Christmas time. So we'd take the train down to Queen Street in Toronto, and the Hudson's Bay Company would have all the windows done up with all the Christmas decorations, and they would have all these sort of Christmas displays. So we would just walk down the street, just staring at all the Christmas decorations, and then we'd make our way over to the theater and see the Nutcracker musical.
But the ballet, right?
The ballet, yeah.
It's associated with Christmas as much as it is?
Oh, it's a Christmas story.
I guess the story takes place at Christmas.
Does it?
It's based
Yeah.
on like a book, I'm guessing.
No, it's a musical.
Yeah.
It was always just
popularity.
I think there was a story.
I'm not sure if it was a book.
No,
but
it doesn't take place during Christmas. It just became a Christmas class. Oh, no, you know what? I'm wrong. It is set on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it.
The daughter is given the Nutcracker as a toy.
Yeah, and then the toys come to life and they have to fight the rats. It's a total Christmas story.
It's a classic Christmas story. See, I have no familiarity with the story at all beyond just its place as, the Nutcracker. Everybody knows what the Nutcracker is.
Well, this movie has a very different
this film
take on the story.
cleared it up for me.
Well, I never even heard of this movie, by the way.Maybe I vaguely remember seeing something 10 years ago that said Nutcracker in 3D, but I have never even heard of the insane things that are in this movie.
Wait, don't you follow the career of Nathan Lane, John Turturro, and Andrei Konchalovsky, the director of Tango and Cash, and co-writer of the early films directed by Andrei Tarkovsky?
That's crazy. Whoa. And he also directed Runaway Train.
Yes, he did. Runaway Train. And he did a bunch of artier films before this that had gotten some acclaim, like House of Fools.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd never heard of most of his things, other than Tango and Cash. I've never seen Runaway Train, actually.
No, me neither.
And supposedly this was his big passion project as well, the Nutcracker 3D. Yeah.
I feel like it would have to be in order to make this insane thing.
Right off the bat, though, in the opening credits, you know something's up because the first credit is of a bank. It's a
Russian bank.
Russian bank. Vinesh Econom Bank presents a Nutcracker Holdings production. Right off the bat, you're like, okay, this is some shady
Sounds
money
fishy.
laundering or something like that.
So this movie cost $90 million, which
is
definitely not on
insane.
screen, even though we'll
No.
talk about it. Some of the special effects are insanely complicated for something that is but ugly.
Yeah, it's weird. They're all kind of over the map. Like some of them are awful, some of them are mostly horrific.
Some are good.
And then there's actually some good scenes.
That primate does not need to look that realistic when he talks.
Oh, God, that is...
Oh, boy.
Oh, Gilgood, you mean?
Yeah.
talking
all the
monkey in
names we know and love.
Oh, my God. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really familiar with it enough to say like where they kind of deviated, but I just know that in the original, they didn't have Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
No, and they didn't have Albert Einstein.
They're not Nazis. Albert. That is the copyright-free version of Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein.
Einstein, I meant to say.
And there's also a great cameo from Dr. Sigmund Freud.
Yeah, where does he show up?
He shows up right at the beginning. They say his name. And later on, Richard C. Grant mentions that they need to bring their daughter to go see Dr. Sigmund Freud some more.
Oh, God.
So stupid.
She's going to need therapy after this.
Oh, yeah. She thinks every toy is alive and there's an alternate dimension. But anyway, we'll get into that as we go into the film. How does this open, Colin?
Oh, God. Well, other than the money laundering credits at the very beginning,
Yeah.
it opens in Vienna, and this is like the most beautiful village you've ever seen. I don't know if it's a village, but it's all, they have like the big Christmas tree up. People are, outdoor cafes. They have waiters that are on skates, skating around, bringing you drinks and stuff like that.
There is a portable orchestra on a cart that's driving around.
On like a trolley just driving
Yeah.
around. It's like, I want to live in this place. This is amazing.
No, but you hate
And-
Christmas, Colin.
Yeah, and then we see, is it Elle Fanning or Ellie Fanning?
I believe it's Elle.
Elle. She's
Could be
so
wrong.
young.
It might be Ellie.
She's a little baby in this movie. This has got to be one of her first movies.
She was in a movie called The Nines before this.
Oh.
Oh, the classic John August Ryan Reynolds film.
Yeah, and I like that movie. Melissa McCarthy's in it, and she
Yep.
plays a character that doesn't speak. She's mute. Sorry, Elle Fanning does, not
Oh,
Melissa
okay.
McCarthy.
Yeah, that would be
You
something.
keep that charisma stapled down.
So yeah, we're introduced to Elle Fanning. I guess she's the star of the movie. Very, very young, and she lives in this enormous mansion. This house is ridiculous. So right off the bat, I hate these children. It's like,
Well, they're rich. They're rich. Like we're supposed to assume Russian aristocrat. No, I don't think
Well,
they're like royal. Are they?
No,
the
they're-
parents are just rich.
they're Viennese.
Viennese. Okay.
Yeah,
Nobody
so-
has accents in the family. Some are
No.
British, some are American.
Yeah.
It's indistinguishable.
Yeah, so her father is Richard E. Grant, and the mother is some Russian actress who's married to the director, but I don't know her from anything.
That's how she got that role.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's implied that she's an opera singer. So it's like her parents are kind of rushing out to go to the opera. She's been asked to sing on Christmas Day.
Christmas Eve, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay, is it Christmas
Well, I
Eve?
mean, it's not implied that
'cause
she's an opera singer.
Elle
She
Fanning
an
is
opera
very
singer.
sad that her family is leaving, but thankfully we're introduced to Uncle Albert, played by everyone's favorite Nathan Lane. Anything for a
my
paycheck
God.
Lane.
Yeah, no, I love
Jesus.
Nathan Lane. I have
Who is
no
introduced in
idea.
this film, talking to the camera, which is a device that shows up, I think, only one other time.
Yeah,
It's
It's
so
very
strange.
odd.
Yeah, it's so strange. Like he's looking at the camera and then he starts talking. I'm like, is he talking to the driver?
What will these kids find out on Christmas? Well, come on and follow me.
He's hamming it up. I wish the movie needed more of him because
Yeah,
my
he
God.
completely
It
disappears.
feels like they just stopped paying his checks and he just disappears from the movie, literally.
Yeah, and he's, I guess, watching the kids while the parents are out at the opera. I assume.
Yeah, I guess he's babysitting them. Elle Fanning is really sad. But it doesn't seem like anybody likes one another. She hates her brother. Brother is
Oh,
like
her brother
introduced.
sucks.
He's such an asshole.
Yeah, he is.
He takes like the fairy princess decoration down from their very opulent tree, by the way, and like sets it on
Burns
fire.
it, yeah.
I was really hoping that later on, when all those toys come to life, the fairy princess would be like, "Oh!"
Or at least
so much
that
pain.
or at least her dress would be singed, but it's not.
Well, Elle Fanning fixes it.
Oh,
You know,
She
she's
built
gonna
her
look
a new
like
dress.
she's gonna show up looking like Freddy Krueger. Like,
Yeah. She's like, I got some nuts to crack with you. Bitch. So Nathan Lane introduces to the kids. He's like, I've brought you this big house, and there's some racist dolls inside of it.
Ugh. But his like thug shows up. The guy who it's so weird. So this big brute of a man, he looks like what's that guy's name from Sexy Beast? Ray
Ben
Winstone.
Kingsley?
Ray Winstone.
Yeah, he looks like Ray Winstone. He kind of shows up like, "All right, boss," and he's like, "Don't call me boss." Like, what are they implying? It's so weird.
They're gangsters, I guess.
I guess.
Albert Einstein is in the gangs of Vienna.
Yeah,
The
versus
gangs of Vienna.
Sigmund Freud. He's in his other. He has a gang. They're like gang
Yeah,
bosses.
they fight at the end of the movie, but no. So they're introduced to all these toys, and they're introduced to the Nutcracker. Now, this is my favorite thing in the movie. This Nutcracker, like, is horrifying looking. Like, they could not make a scarier design for a Nutcracker. First of all, the Nutcracker looks like it's like a skull that they peeled the skin off of.
Yes.
It
just
also
has
like it looks
bulging
naked.
white eyes.
Yeah.
That, like,
It looks like it's made up of kind of geometric primitives, just spheres. It's almost like they dumbed it down design-wise because they knew they were going to have to make it CG later. And it's a lot easier to make it look really shitty.
Let's not put much embellishments on it. We gotta animate this later.
But
it's like they didn't listen to any lessons of how you make empathetic characters. They're like, you make the pins of their eyes small, right? We just want to see whites. That's what people like with characters. That's not scary at all.
Yeah, he looks like the Joker in the comic books later on, like cuts his face off.
And he's got a little Napoleon hat.
Yeah, he's got this big like toothy smile. It's really horrifying.
Yeah, it's like a somewhat pirate-esque hat. I guess it's like a Napoleon hat, you could call it.
And then when he comes to life, he has the voice of Moaning Myrtle from the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, no. Is his voice? It was like a "Hello, governor," like essentially me doing a British accent.
Talks like this.
Yeah.
It
Wait,
sounds
we're jumping ahead. We're jumping
horrifying.
ahead because
Okay.
after all these toys are introduced, we get the first musical number of the film, which is
It's a musical, Justin. What are you talking
It's a
about?
musical with singing lyrics, not just the songs from the ballad.
Yes.
Yeah, if because Tchaikovsky, that shit's old, man. You need lyrics.
yeah, you gotta.
You need
for
lyrics.
these days.
So they got Tim Rice, legendary.
One of the best
Jesus
lyricists.
Christ, superstar.
Yeah, the Jesus Christ Superstar, my favorite musical of all time. He also did The Lion King, and I'm sure many other things I can't think of right now. But the lyrics in this suck. Like
They're terrible.
They're bad. And so this is a song where Nathan Lane is singing.
About the theory of relativity. Yes.
Yeah, it's all relative.
It's all relative. He's like, it's very simple. Oh yeah, they use like the most famous piece. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all relative.
Theory of relativity.
Yeah, this happens again and again where they take the kind of famous music from the musical and they add lyrics to it, and every single time it is fucking awful.
But I guess they didn't have enough songs, or not enough songs that were had enough melody to them, that they also insert original songs that are terrible
Just
and
terrible.
don't match.
They need that
it sticks
Oscar
out.
push.
Exactly.
They need to write some original music.
It was just like in Cats, where they had to write a new song so it could get a best original song, and it just sticks out as the most blandest, bad, boring song.
Yeah, they're
ever.
awful. My notes, I've got so many notes for this, but just time and time again, I've got another horrible song, another horrible song, another awful song.
Well, I like the one where Rat John Turturro does a dance.
Oh God, that's horrifying in its own way.
Vomit-inducing.
Anyway, so at this point, I believe Albert Einstein just disappears.
Yeah, he literally just disappears. He kind of sings them to sleep. They probably just fell asleep, so he'd just go away and stop singing.
Yeah.
They're pretending.
And I think Elle Fanning wakes up And so, like, the Nutcracker comes to life, obviously. It is a seconds away from being like, kill your family.
Yeah.
It looks like a Chucky-style doll.
Yeah, this could easily be the star of a new horror franchise.
Yes. Or like demonic toys or something like that.
It's like, you want to see some real magic? Put me on a ledge. I'll show you some magic.
Well, there's a scene
that's
later.
actually what happens.
Yeah, that kind of happens later. They're like, just jump. Maybe you can fly.
Yeah, he kind of like falls off. Well, first of all, he's got a woman's voice, Moaning Myrtle, also the voice of Babu Frick from Star Wars Rise of Skywalker.
Was Babu Frick only in the last one?
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite character. Oh, I didn't even look. So that voice, she's in a bunch of Canadian movies too.
Really?
She's like done a ton of voice.
She's like a famous
and
yes.
she acts as she was in Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yeah, is she English or Scottish, I think.
Oh, one of those.
I think she's Scottish.
Natalie
I believe.
Henderson, maybe?
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Something like that. But she's got a very, very particular voice.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, she was an adult when she played Moaning Myrtle.
Yeah.
She just has a very youthful
she
look
can do one of those voices. But they have a really good behind the scenes thing on Rise of Skywalker where she actually like was on set live doing Babu Frick live as
and she learned to control the puppet because it would make it easier for her to act with it.
And I think the mouth was like automated, so it would respond to her kind of voice automatically, so she could like improv.
We got
and stuff.
this all working. Hey, you want to do another pass on the script? No, that's fine. That's fine. Let's get this mouth working.
Yeah, but she can have it say, "Whoa!"
Yeah. How hard is it? Yeah. The people who did like the mouths on the Gremlins are like automated.
Whatever.
Yeah. Actually, the people who worked on Gremlins would probably be like, please give us that. We're going to die.
Oh, God. I'm sure most of them are dead.
So we're introduced here to the Nutcracker, and it is a full CG creation that looks perfectly fine in its environment. Right, Colin?
Oh, my gosh. Well, it kind of starts out as a half puppet. Like, she's holding it when it's puppet size. And then it'll cut back and forth between puppet, practical, and CG. But then for some reason it turns into the size of a child, like it becomes child size.
And then it's all CG.
And it's horrific.
Am I wrong in thinking it looked like it was moving at the wrong frame rate? Does that make sense?
I think it was kind of intentionally stuttery.
Yeah, maybe they wanted to give it like a stop motion feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like how they did Woody in Toy Story, where he's very sort of floppy. I think this one was because when he's walking, I think he's supposed to be very kind of awkward and
well, he sure is.
Like he is kind of made out of wood and all this sort of stuff.
Come, children, let's cleanse things with fire.
So, is this where he introduces her to all the other toys?
Yeah, but they walk down the stairs first, and this shot down the stairs is horrifying. Like
just because the way it's moving,
they do not look like they're in the same scene together. Like the lighting is so off, but the way he's moving, it looks like he's limping and in pain, and he's
okay. Like this whole introduction, they go down to the living room, and actually, it's a fun effect where the tree is giant now.
Yeah,
but they're also small, and it's like a weird perspective trick. Where it's like, oh, but we're also tiny.
Yeah, it might have worked actually. Well, this is, okay, I'm going to say it right off the bat. This is my favorite thing. This sort of whole scene, and I'm sort of imagining what it would be like in 3D. And I think it may have played a lot better, but, with the sense of scale.
Time to get your 3D TV out.
It's impossible to tell, though. And I when it says 3D, like I thought things would be flying at the screen, and they're not at all.
Which I actually kind of respected.
Sure.
That it wasn't.
I like it when things are coming right at me.
Yeah.
I guess the Nutcracker's nose could be like, does he have a nose?
I think
don't
it's just
even
like
know.
a little triangle.
It was probably burned off.
But my question is,
Skin up.
Are you sure? Like, we don't know. Do you think that this was shot in 3D, always meant to be in 3D, or was that just slapped on and converted after the fact as a marketing thing?
I have a feeling that it would be shot 3D because
if it was 2010, I think that this was like on the wave of 3D. You know what? I'm looking here. Full technical specs. It doesn't say.
Okay.
So maybe not. It says 35 millimeter format Kodak, so maybe not. Maybe they just did post convert it into 3D.
That was when like every movie had to be 3D, especially Adventures for Kids.
It had to be 3D, but they were shooting natively 3D back then. So the conversion tech just wasn't there. You could tell. I remember when was it Clash of the Titans that came out? And that was,
where like Liam Neeson's face looks like a pop-up book.
Yeah, it was a post-conversion, and everybody was saying how terrible the post-conversion looked, and then James Cameron came out and he's saying, yeah, it's shit. You know, you have to shoot natively 3D, blah, blah, blah. But now that's never done. Like, it's never done anymore. The conversion...
And it's probably easier than it's ever been to shoot natively 3D.
It's easier than it's ever been, because when you shoot natively 3D, it affects every single part of the process. So
why isn't it done anymore?
Because it's much cheaper. The conversion can be just as good, and you can do the movie as you normally do in 2D and just ship it off to India and get it converted after the fact for cheap.
Yeah. Plus,
but it does not look good.
It's not a fad anymore to have everything be 3D.
No, you'd never... When was the last 3D movie?
It might be finally over now that the pandemic happened.
I mean, for people that don't know, like 3D, the reason you would shoot natively is that you get the full rounded out image instead of just flat panes to move backwards or forwards, which is what you get with 2D.
Well,
like, you don't get the full 3D thing.
There isn't, they wouldn't project it onto cards. They would actually make geometry. So you can actually make stuff look very, very realistic 3D in post-conversion now. So they have software they can run it through, and basically you want a right and left eye to make it look 3D, but you have software that you can run the footage through, and it'll kind of approximate what the geometry would be like on set. So you can fake one of the eyes in post now. But who cares? Like, who wants to see that stuff?
I don't want to see Sing in 3D. 3D, all I want is for stuff to pop out at me, and my eyes don't work that way. I can't see whatever. I looked into it, the term, it doesn't work for me. So I'm like, what's the point of 3D then? No, thank you.
Yeah, one of my bosses actually at a company that I used to work with, 3D glasses didn't work for him.
Yeah, it's just some people who have like a astigmatism that just doesn't work properly.
Well,
so.
It looks terrible anyway, so...
Yeah, it's not that fun. So where were we? Oh yeah, so they're walking toward this tree, and is it just me, or is it like the howls of the dam that was going on throughout the scene? It was like, ooh.
Well, it's kind of like introduced, like, it's spooky, what's happening? Oh, yeah. She's like, I'm the side, did we shrink?
Well, we meet the toys that were in the dollhouse, which is a clown, a little drummer boy, and a monkey in a suit.
Don't call him a monkey. He's a chimpanzee.
Chimpanzee who actually looks great, except they CGI animated his mouth moving.
Why
I don't know.
does he look so real? It's horrifying.
It looks like he's got a prosthetic mask on. And then they've sort of accentuated it even more with CG just by like stretching and warping his face, and it looks really weird and disturbing.
It looks like well, I mean, it doesn't look like a real monkey, but like before they animated it, it looks very, very real. Yeah. It's like fucking Planet of the Apes, like new ones.
Yeah. Well, it looks like the character from the Umbrella Factory. Like he's wearing a suit.
Which is a movie we don't watch, or a show we don't watch, but we've seen those trailers on Netflix, and it looks exactly the same.
That's a good ape. I think that one was
the Umbrella Academy. I was like, the Umbrella Factory.
Oh, is that what I said?
That like
the factory?
Yeah. I was like, is that something that Colin used to watch in the 70s? And we're like, yeah, whatever you say, Grandpa.
Academy. And yeah, so the little drummer boy, his name is, they call me Sticks. He's like a Rastafarian.
Well, you just did a British accent.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
His accent is like, I kept saying that he sounded like King Willie from Predator 2.
You're only saying that because we just watched that like 2 weeks ago. But he does.
Terrible racist accent anyway. But yeah, so wacky hijinks.
Now, is this when the rats come in the house? Because this is my favorite part of the movie. We're halfway through, not even halfway through, and all three of us.
The rats come into the house. Do you mean like the CG rats before they turn into John Turturro?
Yeah. So as Richard E. Grant and the mom leave to go to the opera, they get in like a carriage, and we see these CG rats kind of scurrying down,
like across the road,
and then they go into a sewer grate.
And I was like, oh, those actually look pretty good.
I don't think you were paying attention.
I was looking at the rats in the background. I didn't notice the ones in the foreground.
Yeah, so I said, I was like, ooh, CG rats. And April said, wow, they look like photoreal. I'm like, and I rewound it.
He's like
I said, watch them again.
One beckoning, saying like, "Come here, like come this way."
One of them is wearing a white wig, a white CG wig, and it's like beckoning with his hands, and then tries to stuff another fat one through the grates, and it's like. And those aren't real rats.
At the end of the movie, that happens again, where he shoves the other one in, and it looks really cute. I think it's very cute when you compare it to the horrible, horrifying rat nightmares you get later in this movie.
Oh, this movie! Oh my
anyway,
God.
we gotta get to the real meat of the movie, which is all in the second half. It starts off as a whimsical adventure.
Yeah, I like all this like crazy adventure stuff. They're like tiny. They go up the tree.
Yeah.
They see some like Ukrainian dancers. I guess
there's like a ball happening.
The going up the tree thing is actually really pretty. When I watched it again, I thought this would be really nice in 3D, and the whole sort of tree scene I think is really
and
really
there's like
nice.
a lot of like snow flowing through the air, so you can imagine it in 3D. Like that stuff always translates well.
I thought
Yeah,
so
for sure.
As well, yeah.
Yeah, it's very.
But nope. We get one more horrifying thing, which is the Nutcracker. He doesn't like to be called that. It's NC to his friends. Turns his baseball cap backwards.
And then, Einstein says that at the beginning, and then they say, "Do you mean MC?" He says, "No, NC."
Weak.
Yeah,
I created the atomic bomb.
And up here is where we meet the Snow Princess.
I also banged Marilyn Monroe.
Snow Queen.
That's me sticking my tongue out as Einstein, the classic pose.
Okay, Snow Queen.
Right.
Who is the ornament we mentioned earlier that caught on fire. So she comes to life and sings a little song.
Played by the mother. It's the same actor as the mother. And I think that's the thing from the musical is that characters, it's like Wizard of Oz. It's like characters that are introduced.
Yeah,
where is Richard E. Grant? Was he like, I only do this one role?
Richard E. Grant should have been John Turturro. It makes no sense because there's only two characters that get the Wizard of Oz treatment. So you're done fucked up, movie.
And Richard E. Grant kind of plays the dad as an asshole.
I love him. He's a good actor.
He's great.
Do you think Richard E. Grant like looked at the makeup that he would have to do and he was like, nope?
I'm not doing that.
Probably. It's they were like, John Turturro kind of looks like him.
I was in Hudson Hawk.
I was just going to say that. Oh, we still have to do that for the podcast.
He was in Can You Forgive Me with Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, great movie. Academy nominated.
I was in that Big Lebowski sequel that
he was in the Spice Girls
I was also
movie.
in Rise of Skywalker, and I was pretty good. People thought I was someone else, but I was not.
But
it was just a new guy.
Two Rise of Skywalker actors in this movie.
Oh yeah, you know.
They're all we'll do anything for a buck, I guess. So the Nutcracker starts to turn into a human boy. Horrifying.
Yeah, that's
a
what
Nutcracker was like a meaty
body
human
horror.
hand.
Yeah, it's like some Cronenbergian like
and like he's weeping when he's human. He's like, I'm in so much pain. At least that's what I assume.
Yeah, and it turns into a little boy, which is confusing because the Nutcracker voice is so different from just this regular little boy. But whatever.
Yeah, Babu Frick to this normal boy.
Yeah.
So he's.
I wish the Nutcracker just turned into Babu Frick. It's like Babu.
Oh, that would have been great. And then we get like two fucking horrible songs like back to back here pretty much.
Well, what's crazy is he turned into a boy, then they look out to the horizon, and then we get like 30 minutes of John Turturro and his Nazi rats.
Yeah, this is just, oh my God.
Well, it turns into like is it a flashback or is that happening now?
Well,
taking over of the city.
Yeah, the Nutcracker prince like shows Elle Fanning. He's like, you see that big thick cloud of black smoke in the distance? That's, that used to be my village until, John Turturro and his rat army took it over. And then they have a flashback. And we're in full-on Nazi town. It's like this big building just erupts from the ground. Everybody's running. And then these Nazi soldiers, and they're not...
Wait, is it at this point that we see the Nazis with like the mechanical wing jetpacks flying around?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But it's Nazis in full Nazi garb, just with rat faces.
Not like Nazi-esque outfits. These are full-on
They're literally
fucking Nazi soldiers.
And it's shot
Starship
like
Trooper style costumes.
It's shot like that type of film, so it's all gray and like it's indistinguishable from a movie about
Did you guys notice like a really weird fade in the movie where it's like, I guess we're going to a commercial break?
Oh, really?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's when the Nazis are walking around, they push over a guy, And then he's like, oh, it's like a comedic beat. And then it just fades to black.
Well, they probably smashed his head in with the butt of a gun, and then they had to cut it out.
And I was like, what is going on? I actually rewinded and watched it again. I was like, did something get edited from this? Was there some like horrifying footage that they had to cut out at the last minute?
From this point on, this is when this movie takes a turn. Like a hard turn.
What do you mean? John Turturro is singing songs dressed as a rat as he electrifies a shark he has in a tank?
I can't even... so this is the point in the movie where I was just like, I can't even believe what I'm seeing.
I think I looked over at you and we both had just... Our jaws were dropped.
The size doesn't make any sense. How could they have a gigantic shark in a tank? Whatever, but they electrocute a shark and then laugh about it.
He calls it, they electrocute the shark after a horrible, horrible song and dance number.
Yeah.
And then the shark is like a piece of art. He says, oh, it's my finest work. Because John Turturro looks like Andy Warhol.
It's just so much that it had to be intentional. Like, he's wearing a black turtleneck and with the exact hair and later the glasses.
That's right.
So, like, it has to be a reference. Why is Andy Warhol in this movie as a Rat King? I don't know. Maybe the director knows.
He hates Andy Warhol, obviously.
Yeah, he's a Nazi. I think at one point he passes like a photo collage on the wall.
Yeah, those are the pictures that he took of the crying children after they took all their toys and threw them in a pile that is so uncomfortable. Like, they took all these dolls and threw them in a giant pile in the village square and are going to light it on fire.
Yeah, they have... I was going to say so it's not just the Nazi soldiers, but the entire town now has crematoriums everywhere where they incinerate toys to create this black smoke to block out the sun because the Rat King doesn't like sun.
Clearly, it's supposed to be the cats that are the Nazis, as per Art Spiegelman's Mouse. Come on, get with the times.
I've never read that, but it's...
Oh, it's a good comic book. So after this long kind of side thing, we cut back to the Nutcracker and Elle Fanning, and the Nutcracker's just like, oh, I'm a Nutcracker again.
Yeah, because the spell has faded. So it's the Rat King's mom who put a spell on the Nutcracker and changed him into like a toy. So the spell becomes undone, and then she, I don't know, enhances the spell so he turns back. The mother in this movie, the Rat King's mom, is... If I had seen this movie as a child, I would need therapy.
She's funny. So she is the same actress that also plays...
She is not funny.
She also plays their housekeeper.
Yeah.
This is the second actor that's in both.
Horrifying looking. It looks like
she's only horrifying because they put makeup on them.
Well, she looks like a rat, then her hair is gone. It looks like really scraggly.
It's blue at one point, then later it's black.
Well, she's wearing wigs, but her actual hair, it looks like she's going through radiation treatment or something.
She's just a regular old woman. How dare you?
She's in a wheelchair. It looks like
she does not look good. Yeah. She looks, even when she's playing the butler, like she has a particular look to herself. She's always drunk.
Yeah, it looks like this character's right out of like Terry Gilliam's Nightmares or something.
Well, as I mentioned, she plays a giant in 2 different movies. Oh. A Harry Potter movie and that Into the Woods movie that came out a few years ago. By Disney.
Also nightmarish.
But
and she was the basis for the witch in Roald Dahl's The Witches.
Really?
No, that's not true.
Okay, so at this point, the living room...
Roald Dahl would be pro rats if he had to say.
God.
So the living room gets wrecked, right? And then the parents, Richard E. Grant, is really fucking mad.
Well, the Nazis released the robotic dogs.
Oh, right. And they chew into the Christmas tree. Yeah, so we also got robotic, animatronic... CGI dogs in this.
They're rat dogs.
Yeah. God. There's so many things in this movie. I can't even believe... I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Even as an adult, I'm going to have nightmares because of this movie.
But it also has like a weird structure where it seems like the adventure is starting and then it stops. Mm-hmm. And Elle Fanning wakes up and then there's like a bunch of scenes with her parents and she's like, this is true. I never lie.
And then we just go back to the story.
But that kind of break we get, she goes back into the real world, is so long. And
so long. Albert Einstein sings a song about like a pocket in Richard E. Grant's and I was like, where is this going? No, it just drops. The scene just ends.
It's like Richard E. Grant's angry because Elle Fanning supposedly wrecked the Christmas tree, but he's like, she needs help. She is living in a fantasy world. Albert Einstein, you fucked her up. And then he's like, but don't you forget when you were a pirate ship?
Don't you have a clue?
When you went to the pirate ship as a kid, and he sings him a song about it, and then he's like, I had so much fun on that pirate ship. So that solves that problem. And then he talks to the camera and he's like, I'm glad I put this pebble in my pocket.
Oh, God.
It's so stupid.
But yeah, because we go back into the fantasy world, and it just turns into a nightmare right away. First of all, Elle Fanning is like, hey, my shitty little brother that is awful, you come join us. Or no, he wants to join, and the Nutcracker's like, sure, as long as you promise to do the only thing that I ask of you, don't destroy any toys.
Which is the only,
which is, I promise.
And then
hands behind his back.
Yeah, he crosses his fingers behind his back, and then they go into the Nutcracker world, and
wait, we got to point out that is a horrifying shot where the Nutcracker is dragged across the floor, screaming.
It's like something at the end of like that Quarantine movie, or
he's like, ah! And it goes on for like 5 minutes.
His nails are like dragging across
his nails are popping off.
His
I didn't even know I had nails. I'm a Nutcracker.
Yeah.
Oh God! And then the kids they shrink down, and we kind of have a repeat. They go back into the living room, and now John Turturro is full on torturing the toys that lived in the house, and at one point rips off Styx's head.
Oh God, I forgot about that. That's horrifying.
And Max is like, this is fun. It's like, oh man, shoot your brother. He is definitely a Nazi.
Yeah, his brother becomes a turncoat.
He switches sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Nazis have a cool motorbike.
With a machine gun on it for some reason. Whatever.
So we're in full Holocaust mode. That's what world we're living in. It's so far away from the bright and colorful Nutcracker that we all know and love.
Can we even sum it up? I know Colin has notes because there's a magic mirror. She teams up with the Monkey Man.
It just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, that's how she gets into the furnace or something?
They take so long to go through this mirror just to knock a rat guard out, and they dress in his clothes. That's it.
Yeah, and then they're walking around Nazi Vienna, which looks horrifying. It has all the color drained from it. It looks like a nightmare.
It's like Children of Men over there.
Jesus Christ.
Also a Christmas movie, I should point out.
Is it also?
Yes, it is.
I didn't know that. Pull my finger.
Is that a line from Children of Men?
Yeah, it's Michael Caine. Pull my finger.
Does he really say that?
Yeah, and he farts.
Well, this movie is severely lacking in the fart joke department. It really could have livened things up. Okay, I also wanted to mention that the way that the rats looks exactly like the Grinch, the Ron Howard Grinch.
Oh, the Who's.
Yes.
Their noses. So that I thought that, it must have been the same team, but I tried to look it up, but there's just a bajillion names.
I think it was Rick Baker, I think, that did the Who's.
Well, his name's not on this.
Rick Baker definitely did not do the Nutcracker 3.
Oh, God, no.
Maybe he was just inspired by that.
They got the Russian equivalent.
But John Turturro, if you didn't tell me that was John Turturro, I wouldn't have known it was him. He looks like shit. He looks completely unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And maybe he wanted
Yeah, but he is tap dancing up a storm.
Oh, my God.
He's having a great time.
Well, good that he is, because nobody else in this movie
Someone has to.
Can you imagine? I would love to have gone to the premiere of this with just or just.
Well, it would have probably been in Russia or something like that.
Yeah, not even the premiere, and just any showing that's full of children, and just seeing the reactions from watching this movie.
Screams.
Yeah. Also, I have to point out, Elle Fanning is not good in this. I'm sure it's not all her fault because she's acting against nothing most of the time. But as far as I can't help but compare her to Dakota Fanning, who is one of the best child actors of our generation. Yeah. I'm not saying Elle Fanning is bad. I've seen her be good in other things.
Well, guess who's still acting these days with regularity and who's not?
Dakota's acting.
There you go.
Dakota's still acting.
Yeah.
They both are.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Well, she isn't. She's just not very likable in this.
She was just in something. She was in freaking Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I just said that. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I must have cut out.
You're cutting out.
Elle Fanning was in Neon Demon, and I don't even know what else recently.
Yeah, she's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, she was in Ocean's 8.
She was in Ocean's 8.
Oh, Elle Fanning? Yeah, she was in Super 8, right? That's what I remember.
Super 8. She was great in Super 8.
She was good in Super 8, but I haven't seen that in a long time, so.
Yeah.
Elle Fanning is one of those kids, like, she's been acting since she was 2. Those poor parents, like, forcing her to be an actor.
Poor parents. They're probably, like, stealing all the money.
They're rolling in the dough.
Yeah, they're rolling in the dough. But...
Yeah. We set it aside for you.
I will admit, and I'm not saying that every role has to be, like, a huge emotional role, but she doesn't really do a lot in Neon Demon. And I know that's kind of the point of the character, but she barely reacts to anything in that movie.
Yeah, it kind of like it.
And I like that movie.
It works for her character, I think.
It does.
Elle Fanning is listening to this. She's like, I wanted to hear him dump on Nutcracker 3D, and why'd they come after me?
Like, Dakota is a very bigger actress, and she does big performances. And
you got to tag Dakota Fanning in this. She's going to be happy to hear some positive feedback.
You're listening to Fanning Cast.
I like you, Dakota. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. It could be called fans.
You're a big fan.
Fans of Fanning.
Fans of Fanning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Fanning fan club. How about that?
How about Fanning?
Do you think that the Olsen sisters have awkward, like, holiday dinners when they meet up?
The Olsen sisters?
Where it's like,
I don't know. Why would they?
Yeah, because
the Olsen twins are billionaires.
the twins. Are they like Instagram people? I don't know. Are they still around?
They have their own like makeup line,
clothing and
line,
makeup,
like everything. So they've been moguls like since they were like teenagers.
Yeah.
But what's the Scarlet Witch?
Elizabeth.
She's like the big
Elizabeth.
actress.
She's the actress. Yeah, but
There's
I mean
another one,
the Olsen
too.
twins are mega rich.
Yeah.
Rob Olsen.
I swear, I think there might be like
Remember me?
2 more in that film.
They're in like tanks and like cryo tanks or something. They just released them.
Got another one.
We got another one. Fire them up.
Ready to go.
It's like a wrestling dynasty. It's like, oh, one of them passed away.
Oh,
We
no.
gotta get another Olsen
No.
to keep the memory going.
Speaking of tanks, are there tanks in this movie? Because this seems like the type of movie that would have tanks in it.
No.
So I think near the end of this movie, I kind of went movie blind. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It's like they're flying around.
Good thing I rewatched it today.
There's a helicopter with chicken legs.
Yeah.
John Turturro and his mom. It kind of has this like ugly steampunk vibe, and they try to escape. They get into like this bubble helicopter that has mechanical chicken claws at the bottom of it, and they're trying to claw at the Nutcracker.
It's like Baba Yaga's house.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
And then they're flying around. They end up crashing into the town square where they're attacked by all the townspeople, and then they turn back into rats.
Yeah, and then they run away. They scamper away.
Oh my god!
But basically, I forget exactly how they defeat the Rat King.
I think first of all, they crash, and then a bunch of them, one of the animals or toys like grabs him, and then he deflates, and then a rat version of him
Runs out.
scampers out of his like pant leg.
Yeah.
And then they disappear down a drain, and then
Which is very confusing if you try to track the size of things, where you're like, wait, no, John Turturro is miniature sized. So is this a really tiny rat
I think
that's running away?
They get bigger.
They turn into human-sized rats, and at one point we've forgotten his rat face, his CG mouth, rat mouth.
He has a humongous face that emerges, kind of like when Bilbo is like, "Give me the ring,"
he goes
in Lord
full
of the
Bilbo.
Rings.
Oh, that's right.
And he goes, "Ah!" Only his jaw is humongo.
No, you know what? Hey, this is not like Bilbo. It's more like Will Smith.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
right.
thinking
In
that
A Winter's
too.
Tale.
April said he looked like Rawhead Rex.
Yeah, he does look like Rawhead Rex.
Just like the shape of the mouth and the teeth.
Yeah,
Go back and look at our Rawhead Rex thumbnail for whatever episode that was.
I tweeted a picture of it. It is fucking horrifying, and it's on the IMDb for the movie.
Of course.
It's one of the stills from the movie that they posted. I'm like, oh god, it's just.
So you didn't have to find that and take a screenshot. It was just regularly available.
I was just looking through like stills from the movie, and that was one of the official stills. I'm like, that. Oh god. Oh
I'm
my
gonna have
God.
nightmares for weeks.
Just thinking about it just gives me the willies.
The rats are coming after me. Colin turns around. He's like, ah. But can you tell that, like, obviously in post, they tried to, like, soften it so, like, he doesn't scream very loud. It's more like, when he does that. It's really weird.
It's so scary seeing someone have a regular face and then they CGI it to look like 2.5 times bigger.
Yeah,
And then
this,
like expands their mouth. And I mean, stretchy mouth is like a thing in like every horror movie now.
Yeah.
So this is like that, but it's straight out of a horror movie from today.
It kind of looks like the rat mouth is trying to push its way out of his face. It looks really gross.
It looks like another mouth is trying to...
It's an American rat in Paris.
yeah. It's werewolf-esque.
Oh, what was the was that cat movie, The Uninvited?
Yes, a cat inside another cat.
Yeah, it looks like that. It's horrifying. Ugh. And then the day is saved, and then
the Nutcracker is a real boy again, and he'll never be a. It's weird that like the whole village of adults are like, yay for this boy king, like
rule us. Yeah. We can't take care of ourselves.
Basically, and he's like. Probably not even 10 years old, this little boy.
Yeah. So then they go back to the real world. She kind of like says goodbye. And again, it's like Wizard of Oz. She like takes off.
And then she wakes up.
All of her friends are there. She wakes up in bed. The dad's like not mad at her anymore.
It's just a dream.
Just a dream. But then...
you had a stroke.
Albert Einstein.
You were in a coma.
You were raving about rats. So then Albert Einstein says, my nephew...
he's like, I brought my neighbor who just moved in next door, and wouldn't you know it, it's the Nutcracker. It's NC himself.
It's the same.
Yeah, he puts a bunch of nuts in his mouth and he's like, it's like, NC.
Oh, that would be funny if instead of like a child actor, it's actually the CG Nutcracker at the end.
This is my neighbor.
Like, this is my neighbor.
Hello, it's me, your new neighbor.
I'm Moaning Myrtle.
What do you guys think of when you hear NC? I don't think of Nutcracker.
No.
What do you think?
Do you think they just want to like cool it up?
North Carolina.
Let's hip it up.
North Carolina.
NC makes me think of Nostalgia Critic because he always would title all his titles NC sometimes. I'm sorry, but I apologize for knowing that reference. That's all I can think of. And they're calling him NC throughout this whole movie. Why?
Well,
Why not Nutcracker?
She says Nutcracker, and he's like, I don't like that name.
Do they think it was crass?
They're just trying to hip it up for the kids.
Well, if they're going to hip it up, then why not rap over the original Tchaikovsky? Go full.
That was probably shot down. What way to appeal to kids other than, having Nazi references and Andy Warhol references and crematoriums. Jesus Christ.
And piles of dead bodies.
Yeah.
Only they're toys.
Oh, God.
But toys have souls, as they tell us.
Yeah.
Follow the toys.
He says, what happens to toys' souls when they burn?
It's weird that, like, he wouldn't have, like, make it a whole town of toys. That would have been probably more fun.
Well, yeah, like, kind of like the Island of Lost Toys.
Yeah.
No, it's just it's basically a human Holocaust, but we're destroying toys instead of Jews.
Yeah, well, you don't want to make it too literal,
Hey, don't say where, April.
You gotta be subtle with your metaphors.
Yeah. So, can you believe that there's a Nutcracker movie that is about the Holocaust?
Oh, God.
Do you think that Nutcracker in the Four Realms, the Disney film that recently came out, is also Holocaust?
See, the thing is, you
related?
can do this like subtly, like. I don't know. Even Starship Troopers is more subtle than this. Like,
I don't know about that.
They only have one Nazi uniform. Anyway, this movie is a complete failure, and it was it was very difficult to watch. But like, it was like I can't believe what I'm seeing. And at a certain point towards the end. Remember when they're throwing all the toys on the pile and he's taking pictures of little kids and it would freeze frame and it would look like sepia, like a real picture from the Holocaust.
Yeah, it looked like
I lost it. Yeah. Like I stopped laughing because I just couldn't believe the atrocities that I was seeing on screen.
It's very distasteful. And
it's disgusting, actually.
Everything about this movie is just so wrong-headed. And
yeah, like how did they think that this was A, for children, or B, a fun like movie to celebrate the Nutcracker?
Well, who wouldn't want to watch this every year at Christmas time?
Yeah, you could sing along to all the songs with your favorites, like John Turturro.
like its relative.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
She's
dun.
like,
It's a relative.
how do you
Relative.
be so nice and
God.
cool as a cucumber girl or something like that? That's like literally what the lyrics are.
Oh my God, did Tim Rice just walk in the room here and grace us?
Yeah, that like lyrical web of wonder that just spun out for our ears.
I can tell Rice lyrics. I can tell.
Yeah.
So this movie, April, you haven't said your favorite
I
thing.
did. It was the CGI rats.
Oh.
Yeah, she loved
Yeah,
the CGI
I thought that they were
rats.
actually really cute when they were CGI. And that's one of the effects that I think looked really good. Most of them looked terrible. I thought they looked cute.
I don't know.
And I liked it when it was shoving the other one in the grate. I thought it was adorable.
Oh my God.
I mean, I like Ratatouille and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I actually think rats are
So
cute.
any CG rat related thing,
Yeah.
April is there for it.
Oh my God. Well,
What is that like CG ripoff of Ratatouille? It's like Ratatouille or something
Ratatouille.
like that.
Ratatouille or something like it's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
some dollar store.
We should do that for the podcast.
Dollar
I
store
think,
picks
I
it
don't,
up.
I don't think I could. I couldn't make it.
It looks so bad that you just couldn't get any enjoyment out
Oh
of it.
yeah, Ratatouille.
Oh God.
Yeah. Are you looking at the picture right now, Justin?
I am. One of the rats has like big boobs.
Oh my god.
From the creators of Food Fight.
So yeah, I really wouldn't recommend this unless you are really curious about to see a movie that is so wrong.
Yeah.
And, but like it's not boring, but it is. It was for me. It was hard to. I was checking the clock. For
yeah.
sure. It's
And
over an hour and a half.
Like I said, you feel every
Yeah.
minute of that. And so it is available on Prime, Amazon Prime. There's no way I would have paid for this.
Well, we would have had to if it was for the podcast.
I mean, we
but-
pay for it, but not with money.
Oh, I paid.
Pay with our
I'd be
time.
paying my therapist to rid me of these dreams and images.
Of rats and nutcrackers.
Oh, God.
So wait, Justin, how do you know about this, and why did you do this?
Yeah,
to
what the
us?
hell, man?
Oh, I had heard about it a long time ago.
Well, it is 10
and,
years old.
I was just like, I've never watched it, so I should give it a go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, thanks for bringing us along on this journey.
No worries. Listen, that Russian money that was funneled for probably tax and criminal reasons, like put it in front of a few eyes.
You know, I Googled that bank, that opens the movie with, and Vladimir Putin was the head of their board of advisors. They've now been sanctioned by the U.S. and it was like after Vladimir Putin came on, they quadrupled their earnings.
You don't say.
If that's not a Merry Christmas, nothing is.
But now they are $17 billion in debt.
They'll get a bailout. They already did.
They had many government bailouts from the Russian government.
Oh God, and they're responsible for this movie.
Yeah, along with many other atrocities.
Oh yeah. Okay, so that's Nutcracker in 3D, or the Nutcracker: The Untold Story.
3D.
Yeah.
If you want to email the podcast, we're at no such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com. We're on Twitter at no such thing pod. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/no such thing as a bad movie. And if you subscribe at the $5 level, you get a bonus episode every 2 weeks. Somebody on the YouTube channel just commented the other day saying, when's the new episode? Every 2 weeks, but you get weekly content if you subscribe on the Patreon. And next week's episode,
Which we just recorded.
is about the new Russell Crowe movie Unhinged. A new movie, you guys. It just came out about a month ago, maybe?
Something like that.
I think it came out in March, didn't it?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
It came out in the summer, I
Wait,
think, because it was like the big.
March
like,
was
get
a
back to
month ago,
theaters.
Right.
isn't it?
I think it did come out earlier this year.
How long have you been in
We've been wanting to
quarantine?
watch it though, and it's got a big fat Russell Crowe in it who has road rage. So check that out.
There you go.
And I'm on Twitter and Instagram at April Atmansky.
You can follow me on Twitter at DeCloux, DECLOUX, and then the letter J. Also on Letterboxd, just my name, Justin DeCloux, or every week on the Important Cinema Club podcast and the Bay Street Video podcast. And by the time you hear this, there's another podcast that's come out
Almighty.
that I'm doing where my friend Peter Kaplowski, he loves Star Wars, and he especially loves the Clone
You're
Wars.
actually doing that?
And Yes, we are, and he will not stop talking about it. So me and my pal Matthew Kumar do a new podcast where Peter makes us watch the Clone Wars, and we have a lot of questions.
Wait, so this is a new weekly podcast for you?
No, I don't know about it being weekly, but by the time you hear this, the first episode is definitely out there. It's the Star Wars Puncast, Puncast.
Oh, God.
Puncast. So that's your fourth weekly pod, maybe not weekly, but
it's not weekly.
So you're really turning into a professional podcaster now, Justin.
Yep, that's right. We'll see how this goes if me and Matthew go insane. Every episode ends with Peter telling us a pun and then Matthew telling him to kill himself.
Okay.
All right. Well, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA. I will never watch the Clone Wars.
Oh. Yeah.
Speaking
of rough animation.
Yeah. Or any of those fucking stupid cartoon Star Wars shows.
I hear Rebels is good, but no, I can't. I mean, I like
same
the
people who made the Clone Wars.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. Not for me.
But you guys are all up for the Book of Boba, right? Right?
Sure.
Boba Fett?
Sure. Whatever.
Everybody loves Boba Fett.
Maybe.
More CGI Luke. That's called Dead
God.
Eyes.
Well, we should do a
More
Patreon episode on
Grogu.
that.
I don't
Just CGI Luke.
Yeah.
We should do a
it
top
sucks.
5.
Podcast
Our top
over.
5 favorite cold, dead-eyed CGI characters.
Speaking of horrifying, yeah, that was he was unnaturally stiff and robotic, and his lines. Ooh. Anyway, I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
But I've got enough nightmares after this goddamn
tweet
movie.
about it. I just want to say thank you to all our listeners and our donators on Patreon, and I want everyone to have a Merry Christmas. I know that 2020 has been a rough year for everybody, and I just wanted to thank everybody who has supported the show and listened to the show, and I just want to say keep watching movies and having as good a time as you can, and I hope everybody is having a safe and happy holiday, and I love you.
Whoa, big ending there.
Wow, she's never even told me that.
I mean, we love you.
And she doesn't even know you
We
guys.
love you. So who are you, April?
Who am I? Oh, I'm April at Mansky.
Who am I?
That was a trick question.
Confused.
I'm Justin the Clue, and yeah, have a happy holidays, everybody.
I'm Colin Cunningham. Have very happy holidays, everybody. Be safe, and we will talk to you soon.
And a good New Year as well. I'm April Mansky, as I said before. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.